everyone, I'm Bill McAtee, and welcome to Roland Garros Classics. Occasionally, a tennis match takes place that sends each player's career in dramatically different directions. Such was the case for the 1984 French Open final between John McEnroe and Ivan Lendl. John McEnroe dominated tennis in 1984. His nimble attacking game was clicking on all cylinders. A natural on fast surfaces, McEnroe knew he could make an extraordinary mark for himself in tennis history with a win on the slow red clay of Roland Garros. It was only fitting that in the finals he encountered his most formidable rival, Ivan Lendl. Lendl's forceful baseline game lent itself to clay. In 1981, he'd reached the finals at Roland Garros, beating McEnroe in the quarters before losing in 5 sets to Bjorn Borg. But Lendl had his share of demons. He had reached 4 Grand Slam finals and lost them all, including 2 straight U.S. Open defeats at the hands of Jimmy Connors that revealed glaring holes in Lendl's physical and mental makeup. In one corner, tennis's supreme talent, John McEnroe. In the other, the grinder, Ivan Lendl. Perhaps the only thing greater than their stylistic contrast was the extraordinary outcome.
John McEnroe, USA, the favorite today to win the French Open title. The complete player, McEnroe, the semis against Jimmy Connors, displayed his total weaponry. A big serve, 12 aces to none, plus countless service winners. Well disguised, powerful, deadly, he rarely loses a game when he owns the serve. The 25-year-old American at his personal peak, unbeaten all of 1984, is regarded by his peers as best at the net. Even if McEnroe's serve is returned, his attacking style and positioning leaves opponents easy prey. McEnroe in his first French final. He brings his quickness of foot and his relaxed, lightning-fast hands. And it isn't all power. When he needs to, the New York City native and former Stanford star has a delicate and a deceptive touch. And there is no doubt that McEnroe, the player, is more than serve and volley. This man is a remarkable athlete. His court coverage, his mobility to be appreciated and admired. Watch him in the far court. Connors moves him side to side, corner to corner. And despite Connors' solid shot making, McEnroe is always there. There for a save. For another save. And there for a winner. Oh yes, there is the naughty side, the angry, the rough and the rude McEnroe, whether hitting balls at photographers or yelling at officials or verbally volleying with fans.
Keep the thing off! How many times do I have to ask?
Venomous, uncalled for to most, but to McEnroe, a part of him that he feels is not unreasonable and should be understood.
Yeah, I felt I was under control. I just felt that, you know, I'm really out there fighting and giving my best, and, you know, there's times where you're going to get upset, and, you know, it's just pretty frustrating when you ask someone a simple question and he doesn't do it.
The complex McEnroe meets 24-year-old Ivan Lendl of Czechoslovakia today for the title. They met in the finals in Madison Square Garden in New York this past January, with McEnroe serving a textbook lesson as he won the Volvo Masters here on NBC. Straight sets for McEnroe to underline his place as the 1983 Player of the Year. Lendl's semifinal opponent here in Paris was Sweden's Mats Wilander, serving from the far court. It was a match of long rallies, with Lendl in the near court, proving he could outlast his steady backcourt opponent by out-hitting him from the baseline. Czech does bring great shots to this final. Lendl has a powerful forehand, excellent range, and when he needs it, subtle winners. Voila. The Roland Garros Garros crowd today at center court will see two men with contrasting styles, each after his first French title. Lendl has never won any of the Grand Slam events. This is his fifth chance. He has moved methodically through this tournament, losing only one set in 6 matches. His win over Wimbledon, most impressive and most rewarding, because he now has another chance to win one of the big four. Ivan Lendl, Czechoslovakia. John McEnroe, the United States, meet in Paris today. The prize, the championship of the French Open. It's a beautiful day in Paris. C'est bon, c'est magnifique. And the French are ready for their special early summer party. A fantastic day for their tennis showcase to the world. And a perfect matchup in the men's final of their coveted championship. Blue skies and sunshine, a huge crowd surrounding the red clay on center court at Roland Garros. All is ready for one of tennis's greatest prizes. Bonjour, everyone. Hello, and welcome to Paris, France. It's a magnificent day, the best weather we've had in this 2 weeks of French Open tennis. Temperature around 80 degrees, a light breeze, and low humidity. We're set for the final. Ivan Lendl, Czechoslovakia. John McEnroe of the United States will succeed Yannick Noah, the 1983 French Open champion. McEnroe trying to become the first American to win since 1955. In fact, only 5 Americans, including himself, have even made it to the final round since Tony Trabert won it. That means that McEnroe wasn't even born when Trabert won. Same can be said for the Czechoslovakian Lendl. The last Czech to win was Drobny in 1952. Contrasting styles should make it exciting. Lendl banging away with those strong ground strokes from the baseline, and McEnroe attacking every chance that he gets. The last man to win it, well, he's rooting for John McEnroe today. Let's go to him with Bud Collins.
Merci, Richard. Bonjour to you. And do you recognize this face? Well, if you were in Paris in 1955, you did. Out of Cincinnati, Ohio, Marion Anthony Trabert, better known as Tony. Tony, we're surrounded by champions here in the tribunal. I might point out René Lacoste in the white shot and the white hat, and Jean Barotra next to him, who were champions in the 1920s. But Tony, 1955. Why has this court been such quicksand for American men since then?
But I wish I knew. I guess we haven't had a complete player. We've had some guys that tried to play on the clay and just hit the ball back and forth. Others were serving volleys but didn't have the good groundies, the ground stroke. So I think John is going to do it today. He's playing very well.
McEnroe to win.
He's playing very well, and he understands clay better now than he did. And he's beaten Lendl the last couple of times on clay, and I think John will win it. And if he does, I'm all for him, and I'll be first to congratulate him.
As Davis Cup captain for the United States, you sat beside the court with him playing many times. Will his temper be a factor today?
Normally his temper ends up helping him unless he lets it get away completely. If he sort of maintains control, the arguing sort of lets go some adrenaline, and that really helps him play better. So I'm sure you'll see some outbursts. The players are coming out now, but I think that it will not really have an ill effect on his play.
Well, I think this crowd should hype the adrenaline. Thank you, Tony Trabert. Dick Enberg.
All right, Bud, there they are. McEnroe is at the peak of his game. He's unbeaten the last 42 matches. He's won all 6 championships that he's entered this year. Now he's after his first French final. Lendl, Grand Slam greatness has eluded him. He has 39 career championships, but never one of the big 4. They're separated by a year. McEnroe 25, Lendl 24. They both won here as juniors. And we'll have the match in just a moment. It's a beautiful day, an elegant crowd, and they're ready. You have that sense that they're here. They picked their favorite and ready to vocalize. John McEnroe in the near court, warming up with Lendl. McEnroe, who won here as the junior champion, age 18 in 1977. That was a great year for him. He went on to Wimbledon, went all the way to the semis, and won 8 matches in the process. Still a Wimbledon record. McEnroe head-to-head against Lendl is 10-8. He has taken the winning advantage just in this past year after Lendl dominated in their earlier matches. Here's how he got here, Bud.
Horacio de la Pena. Remember that name, a young Argentine left-hander, played well. Ben Testerman, the left-hander from Knoxville, Tennessee. Then Mel Purcell, Huckleberry Finn, the Kentuckian. Then Jose Aguirre, a very good clay court player. You may have seen that match as he won the only set that McEnroe has conceded. Then Jimmy Arias, the Italian Open champion last year, another teenager. And finally, James Scott Connors. Connors served for the first set at 5-4. And can you believe that he only got 3 more games?
McEnroe waiting through some outstanding competition to make it to his first French final. Ivan Lendl, will he finally win a major championship? Here is the route that he took to meet McEnroe today.
Matt Mitchell, former NCAA champion from Stanford. That was quick. Mario Martinez, Bolivian. Then Paul McNamee, an Australian who once beat McEnroe here. Straight sets. Anders Jarrett, the Swedish Davis Cupper. Then Andres Gomez, fresh from winning the Italian Open and disposing of the young man from Sweden, Mats Wilander, in a very impressive performance.
Lendl followed as a junior, and he won the French championship in 1978. They have that in common. They're playing for more than prestige. The dollars available for these 2 athletes, $131,000 to the winner and $65,000 already assured to both McEnroe and Lendl, the second place money. The trophy of the French Open. They've been playing here on these grounds since 1928, as you heard earlier, when they celebrated the return successfully of the 4 Musketeers. Jacques Dorfman is the man in the chair.
As he always is for the finals of the men in Stade Roland Garros. A very firm umpire and a man who also serves as referee of the championships.
Well, the weather, we had some days that you really couldn't brag about. Cold and raw and most uncomfortable, but the weekend for the championship yesterday, Martina Navratilova, an outstanding weather day, but it's even better today. The temperature a bit lower in the low 80s and very little humidity, a light breeze that will be a blessing to this huge crowd. You have the feeling that McEnroe is the favorite of the Parisians in this matchup, but they also have let him know with their whistles when they don't like his on-court behavior.
Boy, can they whistle. They're fantastic. And the Minister of Sport, Madame Avis, was saying to Tony Trabert, you know, yesterday a couple of times when she was introduced, the crowd booed, and I guess that sometimes happens to politicians everywhere. And she said to Trabert, she said, the gentlemen were whistling at me yesterday, but for all the wrong reasons.
Let's talk about the strategy. Lendl likes to hang on that baseline, but the feeling is that if he's going to beat McEnroe, he must come in behind his serve.
Lendl must be thinking now. Never a victor in a Grand Slam final. This is his 5th. Last year, he seemed to have Jimmy Connors put away at Flushing Meadow, and then a double fault on a set point that would have sent the match his way, and didn't win any more games. That would have given him a 2-1 lead.
You see, he has an excellent record this year, 32-5. McEnroe a perfect 39 and 42 match wins in a row. He's won all the tournaments he's entered and goes for his 7th today, and he has a +2 edge on Lendl in their head-to-head meetings. And McEnroe will serve for the opening game of this 1984 French Championship.
Boy, this feels like a heavyweight title fight.
All the conditions are right for a perfect afternoon. Live from Paris. We're pleased you joined us for breakfast. Musketeers, 2 of them, Lacoste and Brotra. Bud alluded to them across the way. And
remarkably, Dick, only one is dead. Jacques Brugnon, who is the oldest of the 4. Henri Cochet, the 3rd of the Musketeers, has not been in good health lately.
McEnroe waiting for everyone to settle in.
All 18,000. He will not start until everyone is seated. And he can count them with that eyesight of his.
There is still some movement. Some of the ball boys who have moved in just over the backdrop on the far end, so there is some distraction. And now we're set to go. Will it be McEnroe? Will it be Lendl? The first French championship for each is there. Now McEnroe going to check those behind him. That's where the photographers like to gather down in the dugout in the bunker, and it was there that McEnroe a week ago slammed balls rather viciously in his distaste for their presence.
They had to reach a compromise. McEnroe said he would not play if the photographers were allowed to stay there. The photographers said if they were thrown out, they would strike the tournament. So they agreed that there would be no motor-driven cameras used behind the court on service.
So, in essence, McEnroe and the tournament got the picture. We will follow that first serve percentage closely. It's a key to the match. An early indication of the power of the Lendl forehand.
McEnroe likes to play dancing just inside the baseline. You have to be a genius to play that way. Take the ball as soon as it leaves the court. But it didn't work on that point against Lendl.
McEnroe's best serve and his first in serve and volley winner, 30-15. He's 5-2 in finals.
Now, in those 2 points, you've seen definitive McEnroe. Right here with the can opener serve, treating the ball as though it's a friend. He doesn't want to hit it too hard.
40-15.
And the next point, he went the other way.
McEnroe bothered from all angles. He hears and sees apparently everything. McEnroe wins the opening game. The 1984 French Open Championship live from beautiful Paris, France. One in Connecticut, one in Palm Beach, Florida.
Well, it's one thing to come in on the second ball, but it's another thing to come in on a good approach.
He's been shut out in those Grand Slam opportunities, but he's won 39 tournaments in his rather brief career. Oh, what a serve. That ball snapping down into the corner. It appeared to be wide all the way. 30-love. It's wide, 40-love. You get the feeling that when Lendl finally captures that elusive first Grand Slam title, that it might really send him off on a run. He needs to believe in himself. stroking McEnroe on that point from the baseline. It's 1-all.
McEnroe cannot let himself forget, despite Lendl's strength of the baseline, he's got to come in against the other guy's serve now and again.
Ooh, double fault. McEnroe's first. McEnroe defeated Jimmy Connors in the semifinals while serving just over 50%. He's over 60%. He's almost impossible to beat.
Lendl extraordinarily far back.
Even on the second serve, Bud, Lendl showing respect for the talent of McEnroe. He didn't move in at all.
Well, he ran around the return, and he took himself right out of the play by doing that. Ran around his backhand. Agility will come into play here. A high return, but McEnroe had to stretch. Now he's guarding the line. He feels that's Lendl's only play, and he guesses correctly.
30-15.
He didn't move from that sideline. This is the play McEnroe owns. 1, 2, 3. Stops at the tee, then moves in one more for the soft volley.
40-15. We're at 1-all, the opening set for the '84 French title. Ace, the first for McEnroe as he closes out his game on service. He leads 2-1 in the first set. A textbook day in Paris, this beautiful city bathed in sunshine. Lendl shot hitting the sideline. 15 love. Miss hit, but it catches the line. Whenever we play, whoever gets the most first serves in, good indication of how the match will go. Well, McEnroe, he knows he's got to get that first big one in there. Good. 30-15. And for that matter, Lendl too, because McEnroe consistently will come in behind the second serve. There's that rocket forehand for Lendl.
Now McEnroe decides to go in, but this is different from following his serve because the volley doesn't mean as much in this case, and it's easy pickings for Lendl.
Second serve at 40-15. Point away from 2-all opening set. Against McEnroe, you have to return a serve well. Doesn't feel comfortable if you do this. Well, not many have made him uncomfortable in this championship.
Only if he gives Lendl a lot of second serves, probably, will Ivan return well.
Again with a forehand of 15. Again, the depth of Lendl. And with that depth, Bud, that gives McEnroe the time to take another step toward the net because Lendl is so far from the ball.
I think it's a mistake to play that far back. Of course, I know some people at this point who would pop one over underhand just to catch him and make him look silly.
Well, Borg, perhaps in a class by himself, able to manage from that kind of depth. But we were talking there about a 6-time champion here, 5 times at Wimbledon, going from the slow surface immediately to the grass and owning both. (40-15).
Lendl obviously feels that he wants room to field those serves.
Ace, the second for McEnroe. He's closed out the last 2 service games with aces. It's 3-2. We pause for these words from your local station.
Lendl was owning McEnroe. He led him 7-2 and was blasting him off the court through January of '83. He needed a rescue squad every time he played him. They should have brought out the pull motor. They came into Philadelphia for the U.S. Pro Indoor, and Don Budge took McEnroe aside and said, "John, you're losing. He's killing you. You've got to attack him. That's your game. You may still lose, but what have you got to lose? He's killing you."
Oh, yeah, late
call
serve
by Pierre Duguay.
Both McEnroe and Lendl saying the ball was good. You saw McEnroe give the good sign, so he should get at least 2 balls.
But can you check the mark? Because the ball is on the line.
Now here is a case where McEnroe was being very sporting. He said the ball was good. Let's see it once more. Judge for yourself. Looks like it hit the line.
Wonderful point.
This is all around the ballpark. You go there, and I'll send you over there. But, McEnroe, where are you?
Boy, that point showcasing the total talents of both players. 15 all.
Off the frame. Oh! Doesn't that make everybody who hacks out there feel good? Even the extraordinary players can do it. And McEnroe was very fortunate to return the ball. He mishit it off the top of the frame. Now, would you miss that, Dick Enberg?
Yes, I would. But look, McEnroe, he just stood there as if to say, what can I do? And then he was going to make his break to the right, apparently. Himself, spraying that forehand wide. 30-all. No break of service yet. 3-2 McEnroe. First set. 30-all.
Just to return to that budge thing once again, after McEnroe started attacking Lendl, he won that U.S. Pro Indoor Final and has beaten Lendl 8 out of 9 since then. He said, well, I knew what I had to do, but it just, Budge helped me by convincing me that I had to do that.
And now McEnroe, when he goes to Wimbledon, will be trying to do something no one has done since Budge, and that's win Wimbledon back-to-back. 46 years. It's been since anyone's done that. Deuce. Since any American has done that. Well, but for that missed overhead, Lendl would have this game. Tough return of service by McEnroe.
On a first serve.
And we have our first break point of this match. There's the break. McEnroe takes the lead 4-2.
On that stroke that broke Lendl, that was the play with which McEnroe drove Bjorn Borg right out of tennis.
Sensational return, totally off the court, outside in for Lendl.
Lendl going with everything. He gets that left foot out there to give him purchase, and he can rip it when he gets around like that.
Oh, he hit that one from the Bois de Boulogne.
McEnroe is doing a little bit of everything. There was a delayed serve and volley.
In this French championship, both with outstanding records, but no titles other than the junior successes.
Whoops, bad judgment.
Now McEnroe trying to skid to a stop, and the lob clears successfully. $15-30. Not a bad return, but McEnroe quick enough to get there.
McEnroe, with his 42 straight victories, is 2 behind the best mark ever of Ivan Lendl, 44 2 years ago, but still a few, 8 behind the professional record, 50 in a row by Guillermo Vilas, 1977.
And if McEnroe continues to win, goes to the Queens then in Wimbledon, he could break that mark at Wimbledon.
We might even show that.
That'd be nice. point away from a 5-2 lead in this opening set. And Lendl may still be thinking about that easy missed overhead that cost him the 6th game. On the line, the 3rd ace, and isn't it interesting? He saved all 3 aces to finish a game. It's McEnroe 5-2 in the opening set. John McEnroe awaiting the service of Ivan Lendl. 2-5 for set.
Now, McEnroe is going to give you a little bit of Navratilization, because he's just going to come in on everything, just as she did against Chris Evert Lloyd. He's up a break.
It's an ace. McEnroe, no, now, correction. That's 2 that have gone against Lendl. He's going to come over to talk to Dorfman.
How can you overrule right now? There was the serve, but you didn't overrule it. Why do you do everything in his favor? Are you afraid of him? Are you afraid of him? Are you afraid of him? So don't do everything in his favor, okay?
Let's look at it. Can't see very well there. Let's, outside of Lendl's editorializing, I would agree with him. The ball was too close to be overruled.
That one's on the line, 15 all. Whoops, now he's calling it out. 0-20. That'd be allowed 30. Apparently the ball was out. Did not see the signal. Fans thought it was in.
Well, Lendl's in a spot. He's down a break. Nothing's going right.
McEnroe off the frame, getting the ball back.
It was another mishit. Sort of an anaconda ball. But Lendl was equal to it.
30 all. Here's the first serve percentage. McEnroe 60%. He'll be very happy with that through the match. Well, it walked up the tape and wouldn't go to the other side. So despite a couple of tough calls, Lendl survives and wins this 8th game. It's 5-3. McEnroe serving to win the set.
And Lendl showing some of that burn that he talked openly about a year ago. He and McEnroe have never been on each other's dance cards. Last year, when Lendl felt that McEnroe was intimidating umpires and lines people, he said, if they don't do something about McEnroe, I will. Implying that he would take the law into his own hands and perhaps McEnroe into his own hands. It didn't happen, but there's not been good feelings.
Double fault, the second for McEnroe. Wojtek Fibek, the coach of Lendl, on the left.
And his wife, Ava. Wojtek is going to play Davis Cup for Poland for the first time in years. They're going to play in Israel next weekend, and he's been back to Poland. He said since the lifting of martial law, he feels he wants to be as patriotic as he can, and it's nice to see that.
You don't see McEnroe miss many of those. It's love 30 and the first opening for Lendl. who lost his service at 2-3 when he missed an easy overhead. The only break in the match.
Now for Lendl, still so far back. Trying to neutralize the serve.
He's far enough back there, Bud. If he took another step, he could sit right in the linesman's chair.
No, valid. Second set.
Where's the margins out?
The ball is out. Second set.
Where's the margins? Where's the margins out?
The watch is on.
The ball hit the white shot.
The ball is out. Now you have to play.
Ball is out. Now you have to play, and he has 30 seconds to get back to work. Although they haven't been enforcing that.
No, not at all, because he's just about there. According to my Ingersoll Snoopy watch.
Which says it's 4 o'clock in Paris. We're live. Well, as sure as the croissants are flaky, McEnroe will be charging in behind that first serve. Weren't they good today? What a breakfast.
You crossed me up, partner, when you talked about flaky croissants. I thought you were going to link him with me.
Well, you had your usual brand muffin this morning.
Uncle Studley's having his breakfast in Paris. John McEnroe Sr.
(15:30). McEnroe serving to win the first set. Lendl doesn't agree with that, and again a tough call. Look good from here.
Ask him to check the mark, please.
And umpire Dorfman is not giving linesmen a chance to walk today. The player may ask for the mark to be checked, but the umpire does not have to go along with it.
Well, I applaud that, don't you, Bud?
Absolutely. Make the call and stick with it. Don't go out looking at possible marks. Marks are all over the place.
30 all. And we'll see how that call, the third of this set against Lendl, affects him. He obviously bothered by what he feels is preferential treatment. Set point. So McEnroe, true to form, using his serve to fashion a first set win. Lendl serves, opening the second set. That's the second time Lendl's gone cross court with that backhand for a winner. You saw that graphic, and gives us a chance to congratulate Brad and Terry White, their daughter Kara Megan White, born this week. He's our Chiron operator, giving you all those graphics you see. We understand Mama came home this weekend. Dad will be back from Paris shortly. 30 love.
Now, speaking of paternal triumphs, Dick, congratulations on the birth of your daughter, Nicole, who's with you here. How old is she?
4 weeks, and she's celebrating by watching from just below us now. 40 love. McEnroe. It's going both ways.
La balle touche la ligne 40.
Put the watch on him. Well, neither player is going to get any satisfaction from umpire Dorfman. It's 40 love.
And it's nearly 40 seconds, but I guess the umpire feels that as long as play is keeping pace moderately well, not to use the watch.
Well, the first drop shot attempt by Lendl, and he gets his own medicine.
Now, Lendl trying a drop shot, but if you can do that well, Ivan, John can do it better. Reminds me of what Angelo Dundee used to tell Muhammad Ali, don't hook a hooker. He told him before Joe Frazier. Ali forgot.
Long, and it's 40-30, so Lendl's gone from 40 love to 40-30 to open this second set. Three straight points for McEnroe, 2 on a drop.
That drop shot worked pretty well before, so why not try it again? And Lendl couldn't make the play. Very important game for Ivan Lendl. Down a set.
And jumping out to a 40 love lead, only to find McEnroe rally to deuce. Some great hitting, and McEnroe keeping Lendl deep, coming in behind that shot deep to the backhand.
With that set under his belt, McEnroe feels that he can do anything. He can attack, he can rally, he can drop, he can chip. His confidence is as high as the Eiffel Tower.
There have been 2 break opportunities in the match, both to McEnroe, and he capitalizes on both. He wins the first set 6-3. He's just broken Lendl to open the second.
Unusual for him to come up on a straight-ahead, hard-hit ball like that.
Well, McEnroe and Lendl, the 6th meeting, last 6 meetings, Lendl has managed only 1 set against McEnroe. You see the difference in plan. McEnroe attacking and a high percentage of winners. Lendl only 3 of 5 chances. 4th ace for McEnroe. Lendl covered well, but his forehand long, it's 40 love. Oh, Bud, remember back when we were in the Garden in New York in January. At that time, Lendl, McEnroe, Connors, Wielander, you could make a case for all 4 of them as best player of '83. And then suddenly, here's McEnroe high above the clouds.
First service.
Unbeaten all year. Certainly #1 and seemingly playing better every time you see him.
It's the best start of any players in the 17 years of open tennis. Hasn't lost a match.
And doesn't lose a point in that game. John McEnroe leads 2-love in the second set.
McEnroe mène 2-0.
And he's got Lendl forcing. When Lendl missed that passing forehand 2 points ago, a shot he usually owns, he's pressing.
Petit en ouvre. Good. 15-0.
First serves staying about the same. Terrific stab volley by McEnroe.
15-0.
He wants them all, and he doesn't miss many. He's the #1 man on the trip to the bank list. Connors, Lendl, all over $5 million. Vilas points away. But the leading money winner in tennis, Martina Navratilova, she's already enjoying it. Her championship yesterday. 30 all.
Boy, Ivan is naked out here if he can't hit that forehand.
First service.
Point for McEnroe. He's 2 for 2 on the previous 2 chances.
Lendl made the right play in approaching. Trouble is he doesn't have a volley.
Breaks him again and takes a commanding 3-love lead in the second set.
Come close in a 4th set tiebreaker, but couldn't quite make it.
Good. 15-0.
And it was terrific to see Solly back here this year. They gave him a wild card. His ranking is falling so badly.
Won 2 good matches.
And he won 2 rounds. That was very nice to see. One of the all-time triers.
Yeah, McEnroe now like a machine. That's his 5th ace. And you have to wonder, one of the knocks on Lendl is he gets in this situation and he sinks back on his heels. .30-love.
What a kicker.
40-0.
What a kicker. A Lou Groza serve.
Boy, that had enough action. If Lendl had been off in the corner in the 3rd row with a racket, he might have finally gotten to it. 40-love. McEnroe, his 2 service opportunities in this set He's not allowed a point to Lendl. It's 4-love, and Tony Traber, like much of the audience here, rather quiet. It's
I'd say that's Rene Lacoste. He may have Trabert's hat on, and Jean Barotre. And Trabert's behind. Under that, I thought it was Frank Buck for a minute. I didn't recognize Tony. But he's happy. He's been John McEnroe's Davis Cup captain until Arthur Ashe took over. Was the captain when McEnroe was the youngest American ever to clinch the Davis Cup for the United States in 1978. And he's always felt that John could be a clay court champion.
Oh, an ace for Lendl, his first. And this crowd, much as they were for Chris Evert Lloyd yesterday, they're cheering Lendl just to get him into the match. They want to see a more competitive afternoon. Well, yesterday, how vocal they were for Chris when she was down 5-love in the second set to Navratilova, and she did indeed rally and break Martina. Only to lose that set 6-1.
Quarante
40-15. Crowd of some 18,000 at Roland Garros. Central Court. His first game of this set. He's down a set and down 4-1 to McEnroe. Cycle today.
Sliced approach. Lendl will do well even to get the ball back over the net, but Pythagoras couldn't handle that angle.
15-love.
He'll get it.
Well, credit Lendl with some hustle saves. McEnroe finally missing the overhead. Lendl had to make a couple of incredible gets.
McEnroe can't be pleased because that point was his, and he was, as Joanne Russell would say, he cashed it. A little too casual. She's invented a new verb, you know, for tennis.
You can read it in the Globe. Staring at the photographers in that section. Someone apparently was walking, distracted. Boy, that is one of the better foul balls of this '84 championship.
Yeah. Hit to the opposite field.
That's the best long foul ball I've seen since Roger Repose retired from American League play.
Did the Reaper hold the record?
Oh, no question. Several of them. 30-15. McEnroe owns the net.
When you see McEnroe go through his best act here, the volley, look how close he gets to the net. And you wonder, why doesn't Lendl try a lob sometime?
40-15. McEnroe a point away from 5-1. And so it is. Philippe Chatrier, the president of the French Tennis Federation.
And Philippe has done a tremendous job in bringing this tournament up to the very high standard. I remember the first time I covered it in 1973. It really wasn't too much of a tournament, and they've made such tremendous improvements in the grounds, in the courts, in the reception of the visitors and the players. It's considered one of the favorites by the players and the spectators. Well, old asbestos hands.
He had him, Lendl, both ways. If he wanted to come down the backhand side, he was there too. Love 15.
Send me your steam heat, says John McEnroe, and I'll cool it off.
Is it good? Yes. Oh, a serve and volley for Lendl. 15 all. Successive serves. Trying to do something to change the pattern. 30-15.
Exactly, Dick. He can't live long the way he's been playing.
Match is an hour old. And McEnroe has limited Lendl to 4 games. Double fault. His first, 30 all. .30. Nicely played by Lendl. He saves the game. It's 5-2 McEnroe. In the second set, McEnroe leading after the first set win.
Wow, a kicker again.
6 aces for McEnroe. He had 12 in the semifinals against Jimmy Connors, and Connors regarded as perhaps the best in return to serve. And McEnroe got him a dozen times.
The kicking serve that bounds from a left-hander to a right-hander's right.
Let's take a look at that serve.
Heavy topspin ball. It jumps to the right. Normally, McEnroe will be slicing his serves, which go to a left-hander's left.
It's like a left-hander's
Or
screwball.
right-hander's left, excuse me. Exactly. Exactly. A tennis screwball.
Overpowered Lendl again. It's 30-15.
And McEnroe is very much like a thoughtful pitcher. His delivery reminds me a little of Louis Tiant. The way you can't really tell which way he's going. Then he'll give you speed, or he'll give you inside stuff. He'll jam you.
He doesn't tip his pitches. 40-15 set point for McEnroe, who is serving right about 60% first serves. And when he gets them in, winning 83% of the points. CompuTennis right on top of that. And Slingshot Schneiderman.
Lendl has given up on his way back in left field receiving position. He's up tighter.
A double fault from McEnroe. 3 to go with his 6 aces. Still a +3. 40-30. Second set point. And we're pleased you joined us here in Paris on a classic day, live on NBC, on our way to Wimbledon. Another breakfast in a couple weeks. (40-30). McEnroe at 5-2 in the second set. He's up 2 sets, 6-3, 6-2, including the doubles, men's and women's. Another call that Lendl doesn't like, and he's overruled this time by Dorfman. Second ace for Lendl. And that's the only thing that saved Lendl, because McEnroe was right there.
The approach by McEnroe, and he's in position to make the volley, but the net intrudes.
30 love. Well, you talk about so many of McEnroe's attributes, but you forget his return of service isn't bad either. He's made a couple of excellent saves in that regard in this match today. First time for Ivan Lendl. To open the third set, we pause for these words from your local station. And just when Lendl might have a small ray of hope, McEnroe reminds him that he owns the big serve. Barely long.
Woo.
You can see the red clay, a little darker shade, and if you look at the far end, it's lighter. During the last break in the crossover, they came out and did a quick spray to settle the dust here. Terre battue.
Hope she's on next.
30.
Now that slice is the kind of shot that Martina Navratilova cut up Chris Everett Lloyd with, and McEnroe does it every bit as well, as we'll see.
40 love.
He's looking over again in the direction of the photographers. They're on two sides of the court as well as behind him. Inside out.
Love game to McEnroe. It's 1-all in the third set.
Oh. Not up. 2 bounces. There, the photographer's over there. Well, I don't see my colleagues Carol Newsom or Russo Adamo, so they haven't been among the offenders.
Love 15. We're at 1-all third set. And McEnroe is up 2 sets. And in position now to break, as he has done 3 times in the match. Leading in all the statistics. In the negative double faults, but the way that McEnroe's serving, that's just, you toss that to the wind. That comes with the territory.
Huge point for Lendl here. Down 2 sets. 15-30.
Apparently we, for a moment, have lost our picture here in this third set. McEnroe and Lendl in a baseline rally. One of the longer rallies of this match. Here comes McEnroe and nets the forehand and now goes over toward the photographers, and he's going to meet them eyeball to eyeball. He shouted something into the earphones of a courtside reporter. It's 30-all. Lendl serving. We'll show you what just has happened while we were away. That's the position from which the noise was bothering McEnroe. While we were away, had some technical difficulty. Here's what happened. McEnroe losing a point. He nets this forehand, then watch where he goes. He picks up a earphone there by the cameras and shouted something. Don't think we wanted to hear that. 40-30. Lendl battles back from love 30, and McEnroe goes to the sidelines and slams his racket. It's 2-1, Lendl in the third set. Length of the match then against McEnroe. Always in the right spot. Now there, Lendl had plenty of time, could have gone either way, and McEnroe just seems to have that sense to guess right every time.
Well, Lendl is most comfortable going down the line.
And has now moved deeper behind that baseline.
What?
Second set.
Not many chances.
No, for Fortescue Crudeau, who is the net judge today, and he's only had a couple. There he is, right-handed net judge. But they tell me he can go both ways. If he has an injury in his right hand, he can use the left.
15 all.
Now this should make Lendl feel a lot better, as he's able to go cross court, rolling the backhand. And he hasn't made very many damaging returns of serve.
No one really has against McEnroe in this championship. There's that chipped backhand by McEnroe, skidding low, and Lendl hitting wide for 30-15. McEnroe's been busy in the attack game. 44 times he's come to the net, and he's won 71% of the points with that aggression.
And McEnroe will be startled somewhat by the return, which goes cross court again, and even his good reach is not enough.
All.
Now Lendl persists in staying back. Bjorn Borg used to stay back, but he would hop up there just about now.
For goodness. A break point for Lendl. It's his first opportunity in the entire match. McEnroe has broken Lendl 3 times, and they were the only 3 break opportunities in the match, and John jumped all over them. Now let's see what Lendl does. Chance to go up 3-1 for Lendl. And typical of McEnroe, he comes up with that big serve to extricate himself. It's deuce. Seen that so many times in the course of this tournament. Lendl's strength, that powerful forehand.
Lendl lay in wait for the kicker this time, and look at him get around on it fully for the winner.
Second break chance for Lendl. Our location high above the stadium. It's one of 19 red clay courts. They've added 6 this year. But said they've done a remarkable, outstanding job in upgrading this to true Grand Slam status. The French. Lendl gets a chance, and each time McEnroe with a serve. Battle back from 2 break points, and now it's his advantage. In case you're just joining us, McEnroe 6-3 and 6-2 to win the first 2 sets. He's serving to even this 3rd set at 2-all. Live from Paris, about 10 minutes from heart of the city, near the Longchamp race course in the Bois de Boulogne. ball boy, and McEnroe motioning for him to move into the corner.
Net court.
Game to McEnroe as he fought off 2 break chances for Lendl. It's 2-all.
McEnroe calling on everything here. The net court. He has to come up to field the ball. Going in on a topspin shot that Lendl barely recovered on, puts up the lob, to which McEnroe replies with a definitive smash as we look at Wojtek Fibak and his wife Eva. Fibak is Lendl's advisor and, of course, a top-ranked player himself.
0-15.
Tournament director Christian Duxin.
Now let's see what happens to Lendl emotionally here. He had a couple of chances to finally take the lead in this match, or at least in a set. Could not do it. Low 30.
That point demonstrates that the McEnroe rhythm is no rhythm at all to his opponent. Slice brings you in, groping. The topspin ball makes you reach. Then he gives you an angle. You're reaching again. You're never on balance to hit, and that's what Lendl needs.
Triple break point for McEnroe.
Well, this is what the French would call formidable. This is tennis as defined by John McEnroe, and he shows that an attacking player can win in this clay pit.
That was just 2 short years ago that Wielander and Vilas, well over 5 hours, back and forth, back and forth.
Don't remind me.
Still a double break point for McEnroe at 15-40. Well, history tells us that it's unlikely we'll get a 5-set final. In fact, there have been only 2 in the more than 20 years. Borg was in both of them. Borg and Lendl in 80, the last. Yes, it is. McEnroe diving, he's all right.
And Lendl's going to show us the kind of shot with which he used to tear McEnroe up, giving John a chance to bite some of that dust, which so many Americans have done over the years since Tony Trabert. The clay that has been the burial ground of American men, not American women, and which is actually crushed limestone topped with brick dust. Now Lendl did well to get himself back in position. He's ready there.
And Lendl, down a triple break point, is able to erase all 3 chances for McEnroe. So just as Lendl could not take advantage in the game before, McEnroe at this point is not against Lendl's serve. Lendl guessed right. But it's advantage McEnroe and his 4th break chance in this game. Yeah, Lendl at 6'2", and those long arms, he needed all that reach just to make that one save, but the lob not long enough. Took a little off that serve, and it was effective. Just that has McEnroe talking to himself. It's deuce. And another effective serve, and it's advantage Lendl. Extremely high toss of Lendl's. McEnroe forcing the hurried shot. It's deuce.
Certainly loose backhands off the ground by McEnroe in this game.
The longest of the match. And certainly critical for Ivan Lendl. He was down triple break point.
Net court.
Czechoslovakian down love 40. He saves it and leads 3-2 in the 3rd.
Over 100 degrees.
And you probably remember what he was wearing.
Yeah, he was one of the first to wear colors, and it was some sort of
Is that the beige?
yellow or beige. It didn't look very good. Should have gone topless.
Love 15. Lendl kept with a sensational forehand.
Lendl's forehand seems to be a little more in tune. And look at him run and hit cross court. Wojtek Feeback on the left with his wife Ava, and he's very unruffled. He's cheering for Lendl, his close friend, colleague.
And Lendl with another opening. It's love 30. way McEnroe is dominated with that attacking style on this slow surface, one has to, in thinking ahead to the grass of Wimbledon and the hard courts of the U.S. Open, foresee a possible great climax of this '84 season for McEnroe. He's unbeaten through the first half. Second serve at 15-30. Oh, he got caught that time. That's the shot inside the baseline. He's been able to half volley. And now a double break point for Lendl to go 4-2.
This often happens in a best-of-5 set match. McEnroe seems to be in his down period. You just can't continue playing tennis on a clay court throughout the way he's been playing. He's got to hit so many strokes here that his concentration will go off, and it has gone off in these last two games. However, there was a setup, if there ever was one, for Ivan Lendl. That was a serve that came into the Spider's parlor, and the fly got away.
Second break point, 30-40. Big chance for Lendl.
Lendl didn't fail on that one.
First time McEnroe has lost service.
He got a second serve and he dealt with it well. Now he's just going to wind up and bolo it.
And the crowd loves the thought that this might go beyond 3 sets. Lendl now leads 4-2 in the third. But he's down 2 sets, 6-3, 6-2 to McEnroe.
Well, that's a confidence injection for Ivan Lendl. And McEnroe isn't going to sit back and fret, charging the first serve. Look at this. Why not go in, he says. And he'll catch Lendl headed to Buffalo the wrong way.
Oh, what a shot.
Boy. Now, you're going to see flying John McEnroe here. Decides to make the approach. A little hesitant. Half gainer with a tuck.
Love 30. Oh, what 2 backhands back-to-back by Lendl. One corner to the other to 15-30.
At last point, once again, and he somehow kept his feet in winning the point.
That looked more Nuryov or Bereshnikov to you on that?
Well, I like to go back to Nijinsky.
Well, Lendl's back to 30 all. He's playing his best tennis of the afternoon in this third set.
Absolutely. He's finally loosened up. He thought he was being persecuted early stages of the match by the calls. Let himself get worried. Now he knows he's in a death struggle in this third. He's got to have it and go home after losing his 5th major final and never winning one.
And, of course, with that comes the question. We had McEnroe slipping and may not have been able to get to that lob, but it was wide. Break point McEnroe. So a chance to break right back. Lendl at 3-2 in the third. Excuse me, 4-2 in the third after breaking McEnroe.
Now Ivan knows McEnroe's going to come right in.
Game to McEnroe, so Lendl loses his service. It's 4-3 on serve, third set.
And a bad forehand at the end to allow himself to be broken again.
Plus 16 in winners for McEnroe. That reflects his net play. Just wide. Well, we said at the start, you're going to see contrasting styles. Lendl more comfortable, banging away from the baseline. McEnroe at every chance, charging the net. And the attacking game has prevailed, as it has for McEnroe through this tournament and through this entire year, playing without defeat.
Lendl brings to mind Sonny Liston in the days when he was dominating boxing. He seemed an ogre, pounded people the way Lendl did, got on top of them. Then a clever guy came along, Muhammad Ali, just as McEnroe.
Lendl missing the volley. 30 love. Pose very much in evidence on this sunny Sunday afternoon. Clever effort by Lendl. His skid mark looks like a Bert Campanera slide area.
Well, Ivan Lendl can move, as he'll show you right here, with those long legs, and he does just enough with it. He doesn't have the dexterity of a McEnroe, but he was able to poke it out of John's reach.
30-15.
First chance for the new net judge. F.F. Smith? Yeah, Smith. Left-handed net judge. They like to change him around. The previous net judge was right-handed.
Eyes of an eagle. (30-15). McEnroe serving 3-4 in the third, up 2 sets.
Got it. Lendl hasn't given up on any balls, as you see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the edge of the racket, but he's easy prey.
baseline or inside it. McEnroe certainly at least the equal and has the game even at 4 in the third. Let's go back to the change or the difference in strategies. Lendl coming mostly to that when forced to by McEnroe, and McEnroe, he's in a hurry. 44 winners out of 64 attempts. Is it good?
What's the call?
Apparently good.
Right. Those words that McEnroe uttered were for himself. Stupid, moronic jerk. He's had words for everybody around here these 2 weeks.
Including himself.
Yeah.
France
30-15.
again.
40-15.
Ivan Lendl feels he'd better go in, and then says that might have been a mistake.
40-30. Took a bad hop on Lendl, and deuce at 4-all in the third.
Avantage Lendl.
Seemed clearly out.
I don't think he was questioning that. I think he was upset with himself. He had position. He had the shot he wanted. He hit it pretty well, but it was an error. Oh, and Cochet is here. Henri Cochet, he wasn't here earlier, the third of the four Musketeers, far right, next to him in the middle, Jean Barotra, the bounding Basque, and beneath the white hat, with his emblem on the hat, the crocodile, René Lacoste. He's the man who devised the crocodile emblem. Everybody in the United States calls it the alligator. That's wrong. It's the crocodile.
McEnroe pressing, making some unforced errors, unhappy with himself. Advantage Lendl.
McEnroe, that's that unfortunate trait of his to swing his racket like a golf club, which happened at the Masters in New York. The racket broke and nearly hit a spectator.
Survives. It's 5-4 on service, third set.
one of the more effective chief executives the USTA has had, from San Francisco. Oh!
What a shot.
Oh! Now Lendl displayed better touch than we expect from him on this point. He decides to use the lob against the net rushing McEnroe. It's a good lob in the corner. McEnroe with a pirouette returned it, so McEnroe thinks he can get that one. It was a drop shot by Lendl, but he didn't. Now, Lendl suddenly 3 points from the set. That is one of the finest answers I've ever seen to the can opener. Borg used to do it once in a while, Connors sometimes, but Lendl was looking for it. Look at that, edging toward his left, got his right foot well out, his shoulder into that backhand.
There was no way for McEnroe to figure it. He'd even get to that ball to make that shot. Love 30. At 4-5 in the third. Oh, good thing that was a fault. That was a rip-roaring winner off the forehand from Lendl.
Perhaps the set right there. Lendl may still win it, but how he'll regret that shot. Lendl was hammering to get position. Patiently, but whap! He came in on the right ball and didn't deliver. That was a love 40 shot, but that's not the score.
McEnroe with a sigh at 15-30.
And Lendl is reading that hook serve very well. This time down the line, McEnroe was looking cross-court.
And it's a double set point for Lendl. McEnroe going for a different racket.
I don't know if he popped a string or not, but I believe he must have.
Going back to that volley missed by Lendl, which would have already given him the set, it makes you appreciate all the more the talent of McEnroe, who's made much more difficult chances. The good players, many of them so-so volleyers, and McEnroe is such a unique class.
There's no volley beyond McEnroe's skill, and every Lendl volley is an adventure. His serve is going off quite a bit.
He's under 50% now. 47%. We open the fourth.
Well, Lendl, it's about time he tried some lobs.
Sixth set that McEnroe has lost in 36 matches. That shows you how he's dominated. Unbeaten in 84. Goodness, a new Ivan Lendl. You see the first serve percentage, and that's a key to McEnroe's failure to win that third set, down to 48%. Still leads in winners, also in unforced errors. He did not have a good set in that regard. And he hasn't had an ace in a long time, and Lendl picks up his third to go 40 love. So the momentum built from that third set win carries over as he has a solid win to open the fourth set. Oh. Look at that first serve percentage in the last set. McEnroe barely 1 out of 3. While Lendl consistently up in the 70s. Now, McEnroe has to straighten out that part of his game. Sure enough, it does make a difference.
Oh, you're so right, Dick. It's as simple or as difficult as that. The first serve percentage must go up, and with it will go John McEnroe, the server.
Thirty love.
Come on.
Not a good drop by McEnroe. Popped it up. 30-15. What's your nickname for Ivan?
The Ostrava Ghost. From Ostrava in Czechoslovakia, an industrial town.
High cheekbones of his. Just a gaunt look.
A very intelligent young man. Speaks several languages, has an excellent sense of humor.
McEnroe is called by his childhood nickname, Junior, being John McEnroe Jr. for many years. You don't hear that very often. I've never heard you really give him one of your fabled monikers.
Well, I know what Shakespeare would have called him. Either Mac Best or Mac Beast.
I'm kind of sorry I asked. 30 all.
Just when you need it. Just when you need it.
In behind his second serve to go 40-30.
Took a gamble on the second ball. Didn't work.
That perhaps has been the most consistent weapon for Lendl through the entire match, even when he struggled in the first 2 sets. That cross-court backhand, when he's connected properly, he's come away with a couple of handfuls of winners. Deuce. Suddenly the pressure building on McEnroe.
Avantage McEnroe.
Total of 7 backhand winners for Lendl going cross court. Game to McEnroe. It's 1-1 in the 4th. We invite you to stay tuned after tennis today. NBC Sports World has quite a doubleheader for you. It's Chicago against New York as John Collins from the Windy City goes against Alex Ramos. A couple of hard-hitting middleweights. And also on Sports World, of course, it drew tremendous attention here in Europe, the European Cup Soccer Championship that we watched earlier in the week. Roma of Italy against Liverpool, England. World Finals of drag racing as well. That's a power-packed show. NBC Sports World to follow us.
Oh.
The happy feet of McEnroe, how quickly he got to that ball. Love 30. Double break point for McEnroe.
That inside-out forehand is a killer of McEnroe's.
John McEnroe, the last time he was defeated back in December in Australia, Mats Wilander, who surprised everyone, went on to win that championship on grass. One break saved. Going for his 43rd in a row, but more importantly, his first title here in Paris. Away with a break and takes a 2-1 lead in the 4th.
Well, this is what Lendl specializes in, clocking the second ball. And it tells you graphically why McEnroe must deliver first balls.
That Lendl shot looked fast even in slow motion. 0-15. He's way off on that first serve. What a lob by Lendl to go love 30.
Lendl is really coming into touch in all departments of the game, and this lob chipped will fall in the corner.
Love 30. 2-1 in the fourth set. McEnroe won the first two sets, 6-3, 6-2. Lendl back for the third, 6-4. Understandably, McEnroe knows the value of that first serve and has just expressed his displeasure, 47%. Much better the first two sets. What a shot. McEnroe couldn't believe it.
It's a kicker bounding way out, and Lendl.
McEnroe said something to Lendl. Lendl came all the way up to the net to say, "What did you say?" And then McEnroe turned his back. I think McEnroe was just upset at the fact he made a tremendous serve and only to see Lendl get a winner.
Well, it's the heat of battle now. There's no doubt about that. And McEnroe is yelling so many things, most of them at himself, but often they're foul and offensive, and the other player can wonder if it's being directed at him. Usually, though, McEnroe is cursing himself, almost always.
And misses the first serve again. He's trying to fight off a triple break chance for Lendl, who has broken him only once, and that was earlier. Yes, having a double fault for the game. His fourth of the match. And that totally uncharacteristic. As McEnroe out of rhythm, Lendl breaks back to even this set at 2-all. Live from Paris, France. John McEnroe seemed to be on a roller coaster ride, all downhill after winning those first two sets 3-2. And then it shifted, as anyone who's ever played the game, hacker or not, can identify whatever happens. How do things get turned around so quickly? Must be in the minds of the McEnroes, John and his wife Kay, watching their son. 2-all. Fourth ace for Lendl. Well, that was big for Lendl to break right back after losing his service.
As McEnroe's serve has diminished, Lendl has been heartened.
The time McEnroe lost his service was back in the third set when it went 4-2 Lendl, and he went on to win the set 6-4. A couple of backhand errors by Lendl, 15-30.
It's rubber pants time in this match. And
Un peu de silence, je vous en remercie.
Double break point for McEnroe. Ace for Lendl, his fifth, second in this game. One break erased. McEnroe, nevertheless, a point away from a 3-2 lead, an upper break. Big point. Shows the emotion as he takes the lead 3-2 in the fourth set. We'll be back after these words from your local station. And welcome back to Paris. Dick Enberg with Bud Collins. John McEnroe leading 2-1 has just broken Lendl and leads 3-2 in the fourth. That ace that has left him, his seventh of the match. Let's go back to the winning point as he broke Lendl in the last game, and for the first time we saw McEnroe showing a positive emotion as he gets the winner.
With a fantastic backhand.
15-love.
Ball!
For McEnroe. That's the way he played in the first two sets. 30-love. Live from Paris, still morning back in the United States. We hope you've enjoyed your breakfast. We approach the 6 o'clock hour in the early evening.
Hope my Uncle Studley's still with it. He told me about his breakfast, and I don't know.
40-love. Well, got to ask the question, what was it?
He said he was going to have a croissant float. He said in honor of the French. He's going to get a big bowl, fill it with champagne, and float a croissant in there and see which he could finish first. Croissant float.
Only your Uncle Steve. And a love game on serve for McEnroe. He leads 4-2 in the fourth. Ivan Lendl at 2-4 in the fourth.
And here's where he really has to concentrate. Sometimes you start thinking, I'm a break behind. You start thinking about the break and you forget to hold your own serve.
Off that baseline, took a mean skip. Oh, wasn't that some nice hitting from both men? Lendl, the backhand winner, 15-love.
Net court ball, Lendl catches up with it now. He's just going to go cross court, and you can tell he's going to rip when he gets that right leg way out in front. That's the play I mentioned earlier with which John McEnroe retired Bjorn Borg. Sliding the ball down the line, the inside-out forehand, and coming in right behind it. And Bjorn could never cope with that.
Fourth set.
Not many
first serve percentages, but McEnroe nevertheless leads 4-2 in the set. That's for the total match. Shows you really how dominating a player he's become and how even hitting less than 50% of his first serves. He's the leader in this match, 2-1, and only 2 games from victory. 30-15.
Infield fly rule, I think.
That's the second that Lendl has popped into the stands.
It went quite near where Wojtek Fibak, whom we saw there, is sitting. And it must have been a discouraging sight to him to have his friend foul that off.
Yeah,
40-30.
Lendl's only won one tournament this year, Luxembourg. He had a shoulder injury. He's recovered from that.
Almost bit the line. 40-30, second serve. At 2-4 in the fourth set. Game to Lendl. He trails nevertheless 3-4 to John McEnroe and down a set here at Roland Garros in Paris. Serving at 4-3, 2 games from the championship.
McEnroe won his first major championship, actually, on this court. Little remembered, probably, 1977, when Mary Carrillo carried him to the mixed doubles championship when he was just a kid.
Just a absolutely magnificent day. 82 degrees. Lendl survived the mishit and goes up love 30.
McEnroe missed an opportunity there to do what he likes to do, to seize the point. Now, when Lendl mishit that ball and it turned into a slow lob, McEnroe just stood there half flat-footed and half volleyed from the baseline instead of swooping for a volley.
Love 30. Second serve at 15-30. McEnroe trying to protect his advantage. He's up a break at 4-3 in the fourth. Oh, he's rallied from love 30 to 30 all. Winner today will succeed. Very popular victory last year. Yannick Noah of France. First Frenchman to win it since 1946. And now it's McEnroe trying to become the first American in 29 years to succeed in Paris. He's 5 points away.
Lendl popped a string.
We saw Don Budge earlier, and Bud recounting that brand new racket he's going to pull out of there. It's still got the plastic on it. Just pull it out and let's play. Don Budge was the very first American to win this championship. That was in 1938. And then as Frank Parker won it, Budge Patty, Bill, well, check that. Let's go Bill Tilden.
Bill Tilden won it. Oh, yes, go back to Tilden.
And then Trabert in 54 and 55.
Warren Bosworth ships those rackets over to Lendl. Mothballed, as you saw. The U.S. ambassador, Evan Galbraith.
It's like taking a new baseball bat out of the rack and finding a line drive base hit.
Budge Patty is in the tribunal today. And he said to Trabert just before we went on the air, he said, if you hadn't won it, I'd be doing that TV spot because I would have been the last American.
Yes.
Budge sitting behind the U.S. ambassador, Evan Galbraith.
The pith look is in.
It's all yours, Dick.
Second serve at deuce.
Now, Lendl keeps going down the line, waiting for the opening to go inside out.
And that shot gives him a break chance to get even. A point away from 4-all. And McEnroe still staggering with that first serve.
Gee, but what a good second one. High hopper up around the eyebrows.
First serve percentage down to 45% for the match for McEnroe.
He's making it adventurous.
Still to follow, men's doubles, Yannick Noah, Henri Leconte for France. Women's doubles as Pam Shriver, Martina Navratilova go for the women's Grand Slam double. And a reprieve. Martina Navratilova made it 4 Grand Slams in a row yesterday.
My word, look at that percentage.
38% in this set. McEnroe, his golf swing anger. Another break for Lendl.
It was a rather careless shot there, the flat-footed half volley from the baseline. And he knows it. Wish he wouldn't do that.
So dangerously close to the
Someday
spectacle.
that racket's going to fly.
Return by Lendl, and look at Lendl gesture at McEnroe as he's broken back to square up this fourth set at 4-all, and the fans in Paris love it.
So McEnroe had a point for 5-3.
Well, the feeling, sometimes on the rare side, between these two men, shown in that last little exchange. It wasn't so much that Lendl had won the game as he was telling McEnroe about it. 4-all. Still lots of sunlight, even though it's past 6 p.m. here in Paris.
3 more hours of daylight. No problem there.
Lendl catching the service line. And then McEnroe hitting deep and following behind, 15-all. We've had 4 breaks of service. Go back and forth in this set, 2 apiece, and now it's McEnroe trying to return the favor and go up 5-4.
Here's the point of the afternoon for Lendl.
As if McEnroe was a step too quick to get to the net. He was trying to get there before he made the shot. 30-all.
Inside-out forehand down the line, jerking Lendl to his right, set it up. McEnroe just slides it down there, and see Lendl back on his heels. He's in no position to respond to that.
Break point for McEnroe. He's up a set, 4-all in the 4th. Misses a fairly easy backhand. Lendl back to deuce. That took all of the anticipation and quickness possessed of Lendl to get to that forehand to keep in the point, and now he has another break chance. Check that, another chance to fight off McEnroe's break chances. And he holds his game. Lendl survives. To close out the 5th, they'll play out the match. Average length, last 11 years, 247. Currently 245, the length of this match. What a second serve.
30-0.
That would almost corkscrewed its way right into the Terbat 2.
I thought he had a second ball ace there, but
30 love. %45 for McEnroe. Well, neither man has really been pressed in this championship. This is the most they'd been extended, although McEnroe with rain delays had a long Saturday against Garris last weekend, but this will test each man's stamina more than anyone else has. .30-15. How about a puff of dust beyond the line? It appeared to be long.
And Lendl hasn't been this tough against McEnroe recently. In Dusseldorf, straight sets, 2 sets. At Forest Hills on clay, 2 sets.
Volvo Masters, 3 sets. Yeah. 40-15. That drop for McEnroe has been an important weapon. Point from 5-all. Double fault. His 5th. Courtside view. There's not even an aisle to be seen. They're packed everywhere. Roland Garros, around 18,000 fans. Not that many seats, but standing in the top rows, filling the aisles.
Scalpers were getting anywhere between $60 and $100 outside the ballpark today.
40-30.
McEnroe made time stand still on that last point. He got so close to the net on a second ball and paused to make a perfect volley.
Oh, he has been in a track meet to that net 98 times, 64 winners. It's paid off. Lendl rarely. Just wide. Or is it good?
I think it was wide, Dick.
15 love. Linesman at the far end gave the good sign, but
good thing for Lendl, he was at the far end. Well, McEnroe with a sneak volley.
On the service line, 30-15. McEnroe started as if this was going to be a short afternoon, 6-3, 6-2. Then Lendl came back to take the third 6-4. We're at 5-all, 30-15 in the 4th set.
Well, we've seen Lendl miss one like that today.
And it may have cost him the first set. Yeah, the big serve set up that point for Lendl.
Now, look at that, a swinging volley, but McEnroe will field it. What happened next was not worth seeing.
Into Lendl. He keeps the pressure on. When we return, McEnroe will be serving to stay in this fourth set.
Down to 43%.
The runaround return, and McEnroe, probably the first such ball he's missed in the match.
Low 15. It's long. Well, you wonder, Bud, about the attacking style of McEnroe and those sprints to the net as the match wears on. More difficult to get there as quickly.
And it's Lendl who becomes the opportunist after watching the other guy do it all afternoon. Waits for the short ball and decides to advance.
15-30. Lendl 2 points away from the fifth set. All. Good second serve from McEnroe. A lot of folks would take that second serve as their first. All.
Break point, set point for Lendl.
Un peu de silence, je vous remercie.
A point away from a new match. A point away from 2-all. McEnroe very deliberate about this serve.
And he came up with a solid first serve. Deuce.
too far off 1 out of 50. Since the end of the second set, he's been operating in the 30% for serves in. And obviously, that's burning in the back of his mind.
McEnroe took the gamble on the second ball.
And the forehand was too big from Lendl.
Lendl backs around. He likes that run around.
Well, the second set point for Lendl. Service has really crushed him the last 2 sets. Lendl very consistent throughout, and we're going to update that statistic because it reflects the course of this match perhaps more than any other. The ball is long. The fourth set stats, McEnroe 37%, Lendl 77%. You see the reflection in winners, 14-13 McEnroe. Unforced errors, however, McEnroe more than 2-1. And aces, Lendl 3-1. That is a real turnaround. Seems to be hitting confidently, and McEnroe is tentative.
And John McEnroe Sr. there. He didn't expect to sit out here this long. It's broiling over there.
40 love.
Oh.
McEnroe, with those soft hands, fights to stay in this game.
He just keeps popping. And here Lendl will get a net cord.
Poor coordination.
And easily directed.
Here, McEnroe straining to get to that point on the line, that ball, and stay in the game at 40-30. She doesn't have a seat, and she dare not stand up or create a furor from those behind her. But she's in the place. 30-second serve for Lendl to open this 5th set.
Ooh.
So McEnroe from 40 love to deuce. Remember, Ivan Lendl, for those of you not with us at the start, never has won a Grand Slam title. McEnroe in too much of a hurry. Advantage Lendl. And that is the pressure on Lendl. McEnroe looking for that elusive championship by an American in this French. Almost 30 years. But Lendl has had to answer, why haven't you won the big one? Here he is in the 5th set. fifth chance. McEnroe has 5 Grand Slam titles.
Ooh! Which way?
Oh, what a point.
Well, Dick, you asked whether it was Baryshnikov or Nureyev. I suggested Dajinski, but I think it's just vintage John McEnroe with these leaps and thrusts and finally waiting until Lendl has to commit himself to his backhand side and delivering the dagger.
Lesson for all of us. He never gave up in that point. Never conceded or thought that his shot was a winner. Was always ready to defend. Deuce. There again, that backhand cross-court ripper by Lendl.
Lendl had to hit it under pressure, and it came through for him.
And McEnroe upset, attacking the net cord. Advantage Lendl.
The cord has never lost one of those battles.
The whole court, and that point, Lendl survives.
He's always been a tough guy when he's ahead, and for the first time in the match, he's ahead. McEnroe's touch has gone off.
His footwork
slightly.
Isn't the
His
same,
footwork, he may be tired. It's been a long, emotional afternoon for him, for both players.
And a very close match.
But Lendl, who has lifted himself from the grave a couple of times, may be a little fresher. That may have helped him. Oh!
There's the ace. 8 for McEnroe, 15 all.
Royal box, we'd call it at Wimbledon. They call it the tribunal here, with Philippe Chatrier, the director of the trophy.
That's how close it is. 5 points separating them. McEnroe. He gets the first serve in back-to-back, and that hasn't happened in over an hour. And he can't make the volley. It's 15-30. McEnroe noticeably slowing down the pace of this match when he's on serve, taking his time, measuring each point. For a count of 1, back up, and wins the point.
How he got out of that.
Wiping himself off. Let's just mark that point to go 30 all in this second game. Will that be the play that gets McEnroe back in tune?
Some kinship with Houdini on this point. McEnroe does not hit the overhead very forcefully. Not only will Lendl field it, but you saw a 1-count knockdown, and McEnroe still hasn't won the point, so he resorts to the feather duster.
See how important the footing is on that red clay surface. You saw him skidding. Could have fallen down a second time. Able to maintain his balance. 30 all. Well, that's where this championship has gone. Outside the United States for almost 30 years. Some of Lendl's medicine.
Just when the sting seemed to be draining from McEnroe's shots, he does this to show Lendl he can still punch.
Clean winner, 40-30.
Two lines.
To go 1-all. He kissed them twice in a row and got that ball a tough shot, the winner.
Count the lines that McEnroe gets on this point. Tough return by Lendl. Okay, try the baseline. There's one. How about the sideline, John?
And I think he hit the service line to start the point. It might have been 3 in a row. 1-all. 5th set. But listen to McEnroe grunt and groan.
Yeah.
45%. This is for the total match. First serve percentage for McEnroe. So we told you over 50, okay, over 60, tough to beat, but 45 in trouble. Lendl 73%. Winners McEnroe way ahead, but he's +9 and unforced errors too.
There's the lack of foot movement by McEnroe as he gets caught just flapping at the ball.
Aces 8-5 McEnroe. We expected that to be much higher in John's favor. Double faults 5-1, so he's only a +3 faults versus aces, while Lendl's a +4. And misses a volley. So he's a step short. We saw a similar match in the quarters when Wimbledon wore down Noah, and Noah came up a little short in his footwork, and the Swede outlasted the defending champion when it appeared Noah early on would be the winner. Style has taken too much out of McEnroe. It's Lendl 2-1 in the final set.
You smell it.
Lendl winding up and firing, but wide. Well, because of the length of this match, we'll not be able to show you all the things we'd hoped to, but we have much more. Finals. 5-2 McEnroe. Wimbledon and U.S. Open. Defending Wimbledon champion. And Lendl in his 5th. Still seeking his first grand prize. Appeared that McEnroe had a play on that ball, and it would have been a tough chance. Let it go, and it fell in easily.
What this would do for Lendl's morale. McEnroe has owned him since January of '83. He's never won one of the biggies, one of the Big Four championships. 5th try.
He's liable to get out on the open bud and never be tackled. He certainly has great skills.
Quinze et
15-30. Well, this, of course, the toughest for any of the Americans to win on the red clay. And for total credibility, as McEnroe has stated many times, he needs to win here in Paris. That's been a stoic Tony Traber behind the members of the Musketeers, the French Musketeers.
Cost on the left, Barotra on the right. Octogenarians.
30-0.
That's a tired shot.
And a break point for Lendl. First of this final set. Chance to go up 3-1. Now a late call that it's wide.
Voulez-vous confirmer là? Voulez-vous vérifier la trace, s'il vous plaît?
Now the umpire asks Pierre Duguay to come out, take a stroll, look for the mark. And of course Duguay is going to point wherever he wants.
There's no mark where he just did it. That was right on the line. No, but he didn't say there was no mark. There was no mark where he did it. No, but Jacques, there's no mark there. There's no mark where he did that. You can't look. Where's the mark? Where's the mark? Can you ask him? Can I ask him? Where is the mark? There's no mark.
Has seen the mark.
That's why.
30-40, second service.
That's why the umpire Dorfman has not allowed the players or satisfied their request to have the linesman check marks because it becomes a comedy. As McEnroe said, he pointed, but there was no mark there.
Umpire Jacques Dorfman, let's look. McEnroe in a very controlled appeal there. I thought he might have hit the line.
Oh, he did. He hit it.
And that hurts. That would have been ace to deuce, but you got to play the calls.
Second serve at 30-40. Break point for Lendl. Oh, it's wide. A late call.
So McEnroe is going to take his heart into a bundle, and that's the serve that appears to be an ace. The camera can lie sometimes, but McEnroe got out. He came in on the second ball, but he still got a lot of trouble from the Ostrava Ghost.
Two great shots by Lendl. Another break point.
McEnroe, pretty good volley, but he's out of the point. He'll just have a look at that backhand.
Second break chance for Lendl in this game. And another missed first serve for McEnroe. Error by Lendl, but he really has had his game together.
McEnroe was in the electric chair there. That's the first time he hasn't followed his second serve to the net on a break point. Lendl had him ready to nail him.
And minutes to 7 Paris time. Cloud covering the sun. But in this kind of day, they're light clouds, and as Bud indicated earlier, we have a couple more hours of daylight left. Lendl had a big hole to shoot at. McEnroe finally has the advantage in this game after denying Lendl a couple of break chances. Live from Paris, our NBC coverage continues at Wimbledon in a couple of weeks, and we hope you'll make plans to share that experience. Game to McEnroe. It's 2-all.
Well, 3 times men have come back from 2 sets down to win this title, as Lendl is trying to do.
And now he'll argue. He thought he had the ace.
Now he asks the center linesman, Edouard Buffeneau, to come out and examine.
Look at McEnroe. He's using this break to take a seat across the way.
Was good, says Buffeneau.
Oh, my. Now watch McEnroe.
And it's an ace.
McEnroe gathering his thoughts. He may have thought it was a good play, but certainly he can't feel it was a fair one after what had happened to him. Now Lendl comes over. He's going to get 2 balls. They're not going to call that an ace, but give him 2. And Lendl now is mad.
Well, Lendl has a point. Well, the umpire's in charge. It's a moot point. If the umpire decides McEnroe has no play, then it's an ace. However, McEnroe did hesitate, seeming to think the ball was a fault. It's an umpire's judgment call, and he says no ace, 2 balls.
At 2-all in the final set. That has been the most consistent shot for Lendl all day.
Lendl's backhand has been poisoned, as you see there. So it comes down to how much do you want it? What'll you give to get it?
Shut up!
McEnroe throwing his racket 50 feet in the air, discussed with himself. Well, John, early in this championship, had the crowd basically with him. I feel that's an accurate comment, and I think through the course of the championship, he's lost fans each match, and
they wanted to like him.
Yep.
I think it's like people everywhere. They want to like him, and he somehow finds a way to change their opinion.
Now they're
cheering Lendl now. Forty love. A love game. 3-2 Lendl. We're in the final set. The championship trophy. There are two places to grab on. Lendl from one side, McEnroe on the other for the 84 title. And McEnroe serving at 2-3. No breaks in this final set.
The Cup of the Musketeers, and that's really what they're playing for. They both got enough money to last anybody 10 lifetimes. They've got cars, houses. They want to say, I came out of Roland Garros, the champion of France.
And McEnroe with that first serve in, and the volley winner.
First serves are what McEnroe's looking for. Wojtek Fibak, coach, confidant of Lendl, must be very pleased the way his man has come back. The last guy to come back from 2 sets down was Borg, 74, against Manolo Orantes in the final. That was Borg's first of 6 French titles.
Just short, 15-all. But the great players usually play fast matches. And so for even them to get into this 5-set marathon, it's a fairly rare experience. And
yeah, Rod Laver had to do it in 62, down 2 sets to Roy Emerson in the final. That was the big French championship for him. He thought his biggest in his first Grand Slam. But yes, and it looked as though McEnroe was going to be out of here after 3 sets, eating dinner by now. That's what makes it a great game. Wow!
And McEnroe just did touch that one in.
McEnroe seemed to be turning away. The point was his, and Lendl. Somehow Lendl will get under this next stroke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a slide.
And skidding it right off the top of the net cord. 30-15. The failure of that first service has taken some of McEnroe's game away from him.
Delayed.
Coming in behind that chip backhand. It's 40-15.
McEnroe playing his best serving game in some time. He may have dredged that secret reserve somewhere. He was very orderly in his complaint to umpire Jacques Dorfman, but he may have accelerated something within. As Tony Trabert said way back when we started this program, sometimes John does help himself by getting angry. Good Bela Lugosi response there.
Maybe that's how you attack the ghost. 40-15. It's long. 3-all in the final set. Well, the fans here in Paris came hoping for an exciting, long final. McEnroe appeared to be wanting to disappoint them at 6-3, 6-2, and then Lendl slowly started to carve away. 6-4, he wins the third, and battled to a 7-5 win in the fourth, and now dead even at 3-all in the fifth.
This is what you've been waiting for, the critical 7th game and the critical 5th set to Genberg.
And Lendl, the pressure on the server.
McEnroe persists on this point. That's the only word you can use. He's going to have it. No matter where the volley has to go, he's going to make it. And there he hit Lendl's left sideline. There will be a worthy champion of France this year, regardless of who it is.
Lendl to the net, and McEnroe unable to pass. I have to give credit to Ivan Lendl, and that's why the crowd is warm to him. The way he's battled back, and the way he's changed his strategies.
He had a chance to fold. And he's going into the Jimmy Connors wild monkey routine there. Lendl, a little high with a drop shot, and he'll have no chance.
Looking up, calling for any special help. McEnroe, it's 15-30.
One of those awesome 15-30 points.
Double break point for McEnroe.
When things looked very mean for him back on his serve in the third game, and he struggled. Now he has the break chance.
Foot.
One chance lost. The 7th game of a set. So incredibly often, the turning point.
McEnroe has forgotten the score. Now he's coming over.
Chance to take the lead.
Give Lendl credit. He took the short ball and put the pressure on McEnroe.
You know, McEnroe more and more is giving every indication of a tired athlete. The motions, the way he's expressing himself on almost every play, the way he slowly is going about his task, taking little delays.
He's within his rights to do this, but he must do it within 30 seconds. And are you counting?
There's no way he's going to do this. No way he can do that in 30 seconds. Meanwhile, Lendl relieved to be back at deuce as he erased 2 McEnroe break chances. 3 hours and 40 minutes old.
Hunter Delatour, president of the USTA, in front of John McEnroe Sr. Now, Lendl, a match like this does things for you that you may not know you're able to do. Lendl becomes the aggressor to make the volleys.
So from 15-40, Lendl now has the advantage.
Well, he certainly earned that game. 4-3 Lendl. Just a touch late in returning. McEnroe for the first time was quick off the chair on the break.
Ready to go, a good serve. This is the scarlet letter game, a capital P for pressure.
But I was really watching with admiration Lendl. I didn't think it had it in him the way he rallied in that last game. That's not the Lendl we've seen in other pressure spots.
That has been the knock against him. Despite being a champion, winning many titles, always has lost one of the majors and has tended to fold when falling behind.
Two big serves for McEnroe. 30 love. 1983 U.S. Open. Defeated Trey Walden.
He defeated the unforgettable Trey Waldke in the first round.
That's right. He took him to he rallied 6-love, 6-1 to win the 4th and 5th.
But that was a silly match. McEnroe was misbehaving all over the place. And
after all, those are the photographers down in the well.
The photographers behind him, behind the curtain.
Low at the ground level. 30 love. So, an exhausted McEnroe, or at least he appears very tired, suddenly comes back to serve as well as he has in the match.
Look at this touch. The touch of the first set restored. Lendl's going to give it everything, of course, and very nearly.
40 love. A point away from 4-all. Final set.
What's the call? I thought it was out. Oh, it was good on the line.
Took a nip out of the outside of the line. 40-15.
McEnroe wavered on that last point, did not follow his serve. Not like him.
Close. Should we get to 6-all, no tiebreaker, they play it out. McEnroe missing on a little soft inside-out forehand. 40-30. Well, Lendl faced a triple break chance for McEnroe in the last game at love 40 and rallied. Now here's McEnroe at 40 love and Lendl back to 40-30. 2 games in a row. McEnroe quick early control and then Lendl battling back. Big point for McEnroe. Has won the game to go 4-all. Boy, you can just feel the collective gasps of these fans in Paris. They went to sleep. They were about ready to yawn, go home, the way McEnroe stormed out to the early lead. And then Lendl battled back and with him came the solid reaction and support of this crowd, and now they're in every shot.
That was the 1982 French final, or Wilander, the 4th round. That's when Lendl said he had such an unfortunate surprise. He'd never heard of Wilander before that. Lendl was the favorite to win the title, but Mats did.
No breaks in this final set, 4-all.
McEnroe with a slice drop shot. Lendl will get it. Not letting the ball bounce. Goes for the volley. Lendl had to take a full spin. And McEnroe barely missing the net post. Lendl injured earlier this year at Monte Carlo on a similar play, crashing into the net post with his right shoulder, which kept him out for some time.
30 love.
It's all Sunday punches now.
Lendl displaying his prowess from that baseline, passing McEnroe again to go 40 love. Big shots. And a point away from 5-4. Final set for the French Open Championship. The #1 player, the #2 player in the world, the 2 top seeds. Lendl, a love game. And McEnroe, when we return, will be serving to stay in this championship match. Ball had a lot of slice on it and just carried wide. Well, you don't know what's down deep inside these two players, but it does appear from a distance. Lendl, physically, look at that, how close it's been. 1 point separates them.
I thought it would be closer.
Just seems that Lendl is the fresher of the two.
Ooh.
McEnroe gambling, coming in behind the second serve, and that has been a familiar refrain. The backhand pass cross court by Lendl.
And Lendl's in good position because he can gun those returns. He's ahead. He's got the edge game.
Not even close. 44% first serves for the match for McEnroe. And much worse than that the last 3 sets. He was hitting nearly 60% through the first two.
You wondered if you could get that high. 30-15 up the ladder for the winner.
McEnroe decides to follow his drop shot in, which might have been a mistake if he couldn't do that.
Well, we've talked consistently throughout the tournament. Tony Trabert, the last American to win here in Paris, 55. And for Czechoslovakian Lendl, his countryman Jaroslav Drobny, the last Czech to win it. That was in 52. Long wait for both nations to cheer a French winner. 30 all. And for Lendl, that means he is 2 points from the championship. McEnroe with the pressure on, 2 points to stay in it. What a serve. Couldn't have shot it with a cannon in a better place. 40-30.
He went with everything for the flat ball to Lendl's forehand, who was looking backhand. Not many of those during the match. Just rear back and fire the fastball.
Look at that. He came back with 2 service winners. It's 5 all in the 5th.
Both men with their hearts dangling for us to watch.
You know, other than boxing, perhaps there is no more naked sport where you're exposed for such a long period of time. No one to lateral it to. It's just you against the other man. Fighting the calls, the crowd, the opponent, the conditions. And here we are in a classic match. This is going to be a French to remember. 5 all in the 5th. I think with all these little complaints and falling down, I think McEnroe's been buying some time. Staying away from that jab so that that cut can heal and stay in the fight.
Did he get the side of the line? No, it's out.
He's been popping up that volley and missing. 15 love, Lendl. Even when things were not well with Lendl, that backhand was healthy.
McEnroe decides to charge and will be beaten by the backhand. The shot that has been the backbone of Lendl. Now, any place else, that's a warning, abuse of net, But the umpire wisely is not going to intrude now. It didn't interfere with play. Title on the line.
No question, Lendl, a solid hitter from back there, and it's 40-love. In fact, Lendl has not sacrificed a point on serve his last two chances.
7:25.
4 hours into the match. They'll not play it out in a tiebreaker if it gets to 6-all. They'll play first to win by 2. Great serve by Lendl. He still has the lead, 6-5. Pressure on McEnroe. It's a long way from 1955 when brush-haired Tony Trabert won for the United States, the last American to capture the French Open Championship. John McEnroe was the solid favorite to do it today, the #1 seed in the championship, and he played that way, winning the first 2 sets easily against Lendl, and now fighting to stay alive. 5-6 in the 5th. And he's not making the shots that he did earlier. 139 times McEnroe, over 100 times more to the net than Lendl. While it's paid off, perhaps it has cost him in stamina, taken more out of him. Lendl staying comfortably back on that baseline. Two points from victory, Ivan Lendl.
Lendl, McEnroe's first serve suddenly coming into tune. But Lendl's not going to let that volley go. The desperate retrieve. McEnroe goes this way. I thought Lendl would hit it right at him, but he goes down the forehand side.
The vice squeezing in on John McEnroe. As Lendl now 2 points from the championship. Nothing more frustrating than that question. Why haven't you won the big one? The constant reminder that you're up a little short despite all those championships. 39.
He'll get it.
For the hacker, there's never an easy overhead. Can you imagine hitting that one at love 30? Final set.
5-6. And now Lendl with those long legs, the adrenaline pumping, he'll get everything.
15-30. Boy, what a return by Lendl. First service. Double championship point for Lendl.
McEnroe is putting in those first serves, but he takes some steam out of it. Lendl so confident.
15-40. Un peu de silence, je vous prie. 15-40.
racing double championship point, nevertheless charging to get the volley winner. One break save. Crowd totally within this match.
Un peu de silence, merci. 30-40.
McEnroe looks across the net at Lendl, who still has the championship within 1 point of his clutches. Finally won a Grand Slam championship, and he showed great courage in rallying from 2 sets down to accomplish it. 3-6, 2-6, 6-4, 7-5, 7-5. The final point. And Lendl's celebration. And with it, he shakes that monkey off his back. And for John McEnroe, once again, an American leaves empty from Paris. A memorable French Open championship in 1984 belongs to Ivan Lendl. The trophy presentation follows. Ivan Lendl and John McEnroe. The trophy is presented to the 24-year-old Czechoslovakian. Obviously a popular winner in Paris this late afternoon and early evening. A weary McEnroe. That isn't what he wanted. But for the talented McEnroe, who loses for the first time this entire year of 1984, it will be a 12 months wait.
I just would like to say that I'm very happy that I won my first Grand Slam tournament here in Paris, and I will be back next year. Thank you.
McEnroe refusing to make a comment, and the whistling and reaction negatively from the fans here reflects their disappointment. They thought in the spirit of the event, perhaps the sportsmanship effort would have been for him to at least make a comment. But the hour belongs to Ivan Lendl with a remarkable rally from 2 sets down to beat the heavily favored John McEnroe 6-4, 7-5, 7-5 in the final 3 sets. Maybe Bud Collins can get to McEnroe. We'll see. We'll be right back. Ivan Lendl, a surprise winner with a dramatic come-from-behind effort to beat John McEnroe for the 1984 French Open Championship. The best chance for the United States in many years, and McEnroe favored from the start and played that way even through the first 2 sets today, but denied, as so many before him have. And Lendl, who was so hungry for that first Grand Slam title, it appeared it was away from his talents until something happened in the third, and he was able to scratch out a win in the 3rd set and then came back 7-5, 7-5 to close out this French Open Championship. Both Lendl and McEnroe have gone back under the stands to the press interview room away from Bud Collins. The women's doubles championship was also decided today, as you see Lendl in the classic pose, the trophy that will mean so much to him. He'll have many other championships, but this will be the one he'll probably remember most. Rene Lacoste with him. Let's go now down to Bud Collins.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. This is the stuff right here, the mixture of limestone and brick dust where so many Americans have been buried. It didn't seem that it would happen again, but it has. Ivan Lendl, on leaving the court after the presentation ceremony, was vomiting. Terribly nervous. I'm sure he's spent much more than he's ever spent in a match before. John McEnroe, we don't know. Bob Bachet is in the locker room trying to bring both of them out. We hope to talk with them. We just don't know at this point. For Lendl, the first question I would have said to him was, well, here's one question I can't ask you. Why can't you win the big one? We've all done that a few times with Ivan. Perhaps it seems like a cruel question to ask a man who has won millions of dollars and about 90% of his matches on a tennis court. But the test comes day after day. And when you get down into this game of tennis, they may play all the exhibitions in Uruguay or the special events or whatever you have, Tulsa, you name it, not putting down any town. But there are only 4 that really matter in this game of tennis, and this is one of them. The French. There's the U.S. Open at Flushing Meadow, and there's the Big W, Wimbledon, in London, where we're going in 2 weeks, and there is the Australian Open at the end of the year. And if you ask the players like Rod Laver, who won 2 Grand Slams, that means in 1962 and 1969, he came in here, he didn't like this stuff very much. He was an Australian who grew up on fast grass, and he said, to win the French, you feel like you've really done a job. He said Wimbledon probably means the most. It's the oldest. It's the one that people know most about. But he said when you get into that red dirt, you come off the court with it covering you, looking like an Indian and feeling like an Indian who has been chased by Custer's Avengers. He said, you have accomplished something you couldn't have imagined to win France. And this is what Ivan Lendl did. Everybody put him down as a front runner, a slugger, a guy who got on top of you and knocked your brains out. But once the crunch came, he wasn't ready. Today, you saw crunch after crunch after crunch, particularly in the 5th set. He was down 15-40 in that 7th game, and he didn't collapse.
But if we'd had the chance to chat with Lendl, the question I would have asked him, because there's no obvious place where we saw the match turn in that 3rd set or 4th set, if he thought there was a place in that 3rd set where he suddenly said, oh, it's going my way. What do you think?
That would have been a good question. I'm not sure I can name it, but I think you can pinpoint that 7th game. We joke about it often, the critical 7th, with the score tied 3-all. McEnroe had come back, saved a couple of games himself, 15-40. And John missed a forehand passing shot that he might have had. He missed another forehand in a rally from the baseline. And once Lendl got to what Allison Danzig used to call the sanctuary of deuce, he was a different man, and he never looked back.
Well done, Bud. Ivan Lendl not only has won his first Grand Slam title, but erased another thought. He does have the heart, he can fight back, and he has the trophy to prove it today. Over 4 hours, Roland Garros Stadium treated to a tremendous tennis, and Ivan Lendl has prevailed, as Bud told you, ill after the match, totally worn. And Bud has had to scramble. He's somewhere deep underneath the stands across the way, and hopefully we'll be able to stretch that microphone cord and reach Ivan Lendl. Bud?
Well, they're scrambling now. František Pala, a friend of Lendl's, is trying to get a shirt for him. We think he's going to come out here. He has been cramping after this match, which is very understandable. He's been ill, nauseous, vomiting, and we're trying to coax him to a landing here, which may seem a little inhuman at this point, but we hope he'll come. We're inside the clubhouse on the runway to the court. Back to you, Dick.
Thank you, Bud. We hope that we'll at least be able to get some acknowledgement from Lendl, whose victory speech certainly was brief, and McEnroe, of course, did not offer anything. Well, there are many impressions that we leave from Paris. One, the dramatic final that we've just witnessed today, one of the best ever in French Open history. We're left with a reminder that this is a magnificent city in all its beauty, from its Eiffel Tower and its many monuments to just the beautiful large chestnut trees that surround the courts here at Roland Garros and drop their soft white flowers even during play. We're left with the fact that the French love their women, but they don't seem to love the women that play tennis, that they seem to ignore outstanding women's tennis throughout the course of the tournament. They love to watch the men play. And we're left with the fact that, as beautiful as it was this weekend, that we did learn a few new words, and one of them is parapluie, because we had to use that umbrella, parapluie. Can you say it? We'll have it all packed up for Wimbledon in a couple of weeks. Ivan Lendl apparently has made his way to Bud Collins.
Ivan Lendl has come down. He's barefoot, but rather happy, I would say. Ivan, there's one question I no longer can ask you. Why can't you win the big one?
Well, I'm glad, but so you can't give me a hard time anymore. That's why I tried so hard today.
Ivan, I've never seen you try harder, but we wanted to know You were down 2 sets to love. Where do you think the match changed?
Well, you know, John was playing great. He was playing good serve and volley game. He was hitting corners and lines and good angles all the time. And I just tried to hang in there and was hoping something would happen. And I think he got a little tired.
You think he got a little tired. Now, let's go to the last set, 7th game. You are down 15-40.
Yeah, that's correct. But, you know, I just felt I could win that game because 2 games before that I was up 2 break points and I hit one winner a little out, and then I approached the shot which was a little more out, but also it was a good play and I missed it. So I felt I could save those 2 and it would be about even.
This tournament has been a little bit of a disappointment to you. 2 years ago, everybody conceded you would win it. Did you feel that you might never win it?
Well, I don't know. I just thought it would be very, very difficult with the clay court players, and you know, I never thought until this year that McEnroe would be the main contender for this title, and he started playing very well this year, and he just breezed through the draw, and he was breezing through today for a while too.
Why do you think you won? Why?
I thought I played pretty good tennis. I was fighting hard, and I really wanted to win.
You really wanted to win?
I think so.
Have there been other times when you did give up?
No, not really, but you know, I just was in better shape today than some other times, and I could run that a little longer.
You were ready to win. Congratulations. Here he is, the French champion, Ivan Lendl, Dick Enberg.
The joy of the champion, Ivan Lendl, has defeated John McEnroe for the '84 French Open Championship. And now, as we leave Paris, our thoughts move ahead to the next Grand Slam. On NBC, it'll be Wimbledon. From Paris on to London, from the Seine to the Thames. The grass. Ivan Lendl has never liked playing on that fast surface. How will he do as he tries to use this as a springboard to go to Wimbledon? How about John McEnroe? What a disappointing day for him. 42 consecutive wins. He had not lost all year, so that streak is broken. And more importantly, will he ever have a better opportunity to win this elusive French Open Championship? And McEnroe is on his way to England, where he will defend his Wimbledon Championship. And Martina Navratilova, will anyone challenge her? Seemingly unbeatable. She destroyed the #2 player, Chris Evert-Lloyd, in this championship. She will be the obvious favorite in women's play when we get to the All-England Club. Our thanks to Bud Collins, Joanne Russell. This is Dick Enberg in Paris. Thank you for joining us. Ivan Lendl has won the '84 French.